Hi, everyone. I am so glad you've joined us this evening. If you want to say where you're from in the chat, we do that from time to time. Give a little shout out to the people in the chat and let me know where you're from. If you noticed, we started with a song from the Maccabees because tonight, right now, is Rosh Chodesh. We are the beginnings of the month of Kislev. And in this month, we have the holiday of Hanukkah. So exciting. In a few more weeks, right? 3 more weeks, we're going to have Hanukkah. Hi from Brooklyn. We got Chicago in the house, Staten Island, Denver, Arizona. This is so exciting. I love when I see so many people from all over. Baltimore, Brooklyn. This is so exciting. So tonight's theme is about learning. Now, what's interesting about learning is that knowledge is power. So I just wanted to tell you a very quick story, very cute, about my own personal life. When I was 19, long time ago, when I was 19, I had a learning partner. And the person who set us up, they thought it would be very cute because my name is Jordana. The person thinking that my Hebrew name is Yardena, but it is not Yardena, it is Yonina. But the person thought it was Yardena, set me up with a learning partner whose name was Yarden. And we would learn together every Tuesday night. Now, this young girl was going to Montclair State University right here near my hometown, right here near Passaic. And every Tuesday night she would come, she'd take this Bible class, and she would say, okay, I learned this in Bible class. Now you tell me what my teacher did wrong. I don't. Thank God I took in college Jewish Christian polemics, so I had some knowledge and background, and we would talk and we would schmooze and we would learn. And every Tuesday night we learned and learned and learned. And to this day, we are still very good friends. She herself just became a grandmother a few weeks ago. I keep in touch. She lives in Israel. She is great. And the learning just inspired both of us. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. How when we learn something, we actually grow from it. That this knowledge that we gain really just shoots us right up in any different way, shape or form. It doesn't mean it has to be something that I am now going to do. No, it could be something, a consciousness, a mindset. It makes me more mindful of who I am as a person. And that's the power of learning and gaining more knowledge. So without further ado, I'd love to call on our first speaker. These are a lot of tongue twister names. I have Elena. Elena, is Elena in the house? Hi, Elena. Hi.
Hi.
So
Hi.
could you tell everyone where you're from, Elena?
Hi, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, and originally where are you from, Elena?
Originally from Belarus, Minsk.
Okay, and how old were you when you came to America?
So I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was 10 years old and I came with my family. I have an older sister. And I was always a very connected kid. Like I was always very spiritual. I always knew there was God. I knew there was more to this world than meets the eye. And my parents gave me to Sunday school, and I got a little more familiar with traditional Judaism. And then as I got older, I mean, I was just lived in a traditional household. We celebrated holidays, but really that's where it ends. And I became a little bit more curious with age. I got married, I had children, and I felt like I needed to know a little bit more. And I was always very curious. And it kind of resonated. It transferred into my adulthood. And my friend Biana told me about JWRP trip and Jane Spire. And I wasn't ready at that point. And a few years later, I had my second son. And a year after I had him, I started becoming curious about the trip, and I applied with J Inspire Brooklyn. And I went on the trip, and I felt like, what am I going to really find out? Because I was connected and I was learning a little bit here and there. And I went on the trip for my sister. So it was like a really great experience to do together. And I guess I had a lot of aha moments on that trip. Little ones, but it kind of started my journey that I'm on now. It was the beginning of discovering about myself and getting comfortable with who I am in more ways than just Judaism, just spirituality and everything else. And this led me to life coaching now that I'm working on. And after I came back, little by little, I started, going to mikvah and lighting candles and doing challah. And now, actually, this has been about 4 years, I think, since the trip. And this is the first year that I signed up my kids to a Jewish school, which is such a huge step for me.
Yes, that's huge.
Yeah, because my husband wasn't on the same page ever, really. So for us, COVID and the pandemic really was the main push. But I couldn't have been happier, because I feel like if I could give that to my children and just for them to be connected and know there's a God, I think that's like the ultimate. I just want to say that it's not all or nothing. I don't keep Shabbat fully. I do my best. I try not to drive. I light candles. We do challah, like I said. And at this point, I feel like I've grown so much that I hope to grow in the future, but it's a little bit hard to do everything. It's not so black and white. So I just want to say it's one step at a time. And there's really no right or wrong when you're growing. Sometimes you take a few steps back, but ultimately the goal is to keep moving forward and to keep growing and to keep doing more and working on yourself.
Right. I agree. And I think that's awesome. And I think when we spoke, Elena, if you remember, I really resonated with your story, because I told you about my own mother, that she also was not raised in an observant home. And she became observant when she married my dad. And they sent us all to yeshivas. And every time I came home, my mother would learn more and more through us. And what was so nice, she said that when we'd come home and say something, she goes, "Oh, really? I didn't realize that that's part of Judaism. I thought that's just how you live." Meaning, she lived such a traditional life, she didn't even realize that her traditions that she was doing was really about Judaism. And that was part and parcel of her family life. And so it just, everything came together. And that's the beauty of what you're doing for your kids. You're just bringing it all together with the learning and the education. You're planting seeds for them that hopefully one day you're going to sprout this beautiful garden. So really, all due respect to you. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing those words with us and sharing your story with us. So we're now going to go to the first dessert. So this is the evening of getting fat. Okay. I said, oh my gosh. And I said one dessert after another dessert after another dessert. I said, Martha, okay, I'm in trouble here. But I think she's more in trouble because she kept on making the desserts over and over again so that she could have them ready for us and see them. And I said, I might just take a drive over to her house to pick some up. So without further ado, let's put up that first slide so we could see the first dessert that we're going to be making tonight. Desserts, yum. The Lotus Rice Crispy Log. And also you'll notice on the bottom, once we post this link in the chat, on this one slide, I have on the bottom a link of where you could actually get the mold that she's going to be talking about. Okay, so Martha, why don't you take it away? Tell us who you're with also.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So hi everyone, this is so exciting. I can't wait to make all these yummy things together, but I didn't want to do this alone. So I recruited my learning partner, Elena, who lives very nearby. Yes. And we decided we're doing this together because, you know, we're a good team. We learn together. We're going to tell you about that too. But now we're just going to jump into our first dessert. Very easy, takes 3 minutes and delicious. Okay. So it's a Rice Crispy Log, which could really be done with peanut butter, but we switched it up and we're making it with lotus butter just because we want to make it for the peanut-free. We want to make it peanut-free friendly. So I just have a pat, and anytime I do anything sticky like this, I like to spray it just because it makes everything easier to come out after. And we're gonna add in 1 cup of lotus butter. Could you bring me the lotus? I want to show them what it looks like. It's right there. You see the lotus? So we're getting in here 1 cup of lotus butter into the pot, and this is what it looks like if anybody isn't familiar with it. But you could also do this with peanut butter or even Nutella. And here's 1 cup of corn syrup going in also. I had preheated the pot just because I wanted it to go faster, and 1/2 cup of sugar. Thank you so much. Look at this lovely assistant. She's already clearing everything away. I want you to see, I'm trying to get you to see inside the pot.
That's good. That's a good view. Very good, Martha. I like that view.
Okay. So it just takes about, I don't even know, maybe 2 minutes, depending. And you just wanted to get it to be creamy and melted. That's basically it. So I'm just gonna keep stirring it for another maybe 30 seconds. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the fire. And I'm going to add in.
What are you making?
About 6 cups of Rice Krispies that just went right into the pot. I'm gonna stir it all up. Okay.
Yum, yum, yum.
I want to give you a better view. Maybe I could do that. Okay. There you go. I think that's better. Getting everything very, very incorporated. And the next thing after that is one of my favorite gadgets is, and I think Jordana has a link and she posted it. It's called like a mold, like a log mold. You see, it's plastic like this. And I bought mine at the Pepper Mill, which is a store in Brooklyn, but you could order it online. And if you don't want to have this and you just want to make it regular, no problem. This will go right into a 9x13 pan with parchment paper, just for easy, removal. But this just makes like a much, much more dramatic presentation. And you see the whole thing took 2 seconds. It's basically done. My parchment is lined. My log is lined with parchment paper. I will now try to get as neatly as possible, but I just want to see that you can see it. Yeah. I'm just gonna get it all in here.
See that little bit that dropped? I would eat that right away.
You know what? It's really actually very hot, so it might burn your tongue. So
Oh, okay. So I wouldn't eat it right away.
yeah, you have to wait a minute or two, and then you could just, there you go. Then usually, now it's like really burning hot because I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. But a good trick also is I try to go in with wet hands.
Uh-huh.
And that just helps to pat everything down. And guess what, guys? Our first dessert is basically done. It's gonna go into the freezer just to set for about 15, 20 minutes. And at the end of our show, we're gonna decorate the top to make it look, nice for presentation purposes. But our first dessert is officially done.
Oh, so could I speak to Elena first?
Yes, and
Can I speak to Elena? Where's Elena?
Here's Elena.
Elena. Hi.
I'm right here.
Okay, so Elena, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where are you from, Elena?
Originally?
Yes. Yes.
Odessa, Ukraine.
Okay, and when did you come to America?
Odessa, Ukraine. Came here when I was 5.
When you were 5? 5? Okay.
I was 5 when I came here.
Okay.
Went straight
great.
to yeshiva for
Wow.
7 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Brooklyn yeshivas. Very King's Yeshiva of Moshe in Bay Parkway, and the Yeshiva of Kings Bay on Avenue Z and Bedford.
Wow.
See?
And
And
how
then
long,
my mom took me out.
Yeah. and how long have the two of you been learning together? How long have the two of you been learning?
Learning for almost a year and
Wow.
a year and a half. We've went to Israel, and we were partnered up, and she's a wonderful learning partner.
No, she's amazing.
Okay, great.
Uh,
What's
Who has a learning partner that reads the footnotes? I'm sorry, only I'm so lucky.
what's the
Read
first thing?
footnotes in the book? Who reads the footnotes?
What's the first thing you learned together? What is that? Gateways to Judaism?
that's how we started. We started
Yes.
with the book and Gateway to Judaism. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let me see. Who's the
And,
author? Who's the author of that
the
book?
thing is, Martha was very good to say, Elena, you pick what you want to learn. So I went through the chapters, and I actually started with things that mattered, that were happening in my life. And I was saying, well, I'm interested in learning about this. So so we started with chapter 3 on that one.
Okay. Okay, great. But I love that. First of all,
Yeah.
something light that but it was something that resonated with you. And I think all the listeners pay careful attention. When you're learning something, you want to do something that you connect to. Because if you don't feel that connection, then you're not going to get much out of it. So it's so important. It's so important to have that connection when you're learning. And so if you're interested in starting a learning session with somebody or going to some classes, there's so much out there. Pick something that you connect with. So that's great. Thank you so much. Yes, Martha.
I love that we like the book didn't tell us what, like we chose the chapters as things were happening in our life or as certain holidays were coming up, that we really like picked from here. And in the end, we ended up doing the whole book. But like, you know, I would tell Elena, okay, you tell me what you want to learn next week. And I mean, it's a great book because it really gives you Judaism on one foot, a little bit of a taste of everything. You know, It's like, it's a taste of Shabbos, you know, it's like this, like, it's like everything.
Okay,
So that was our first book, and we finished that. And then we actually wanted to do Charlie Harari's book, Unlocking Greatness, but it was like a quick read and we both just read through it. So it wasn't like a chapter by chapter. And now we're doing Rav Noach Weinberg's 48 Ways to Wisdom, and we're really enjoying it. We're like in the middle.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, you ready for the next dessert, Martha?
Oh my God.
You're ready, I'm ready.
Where are we going?
Okay, here we go. Let's see the slide. Chocolate, hazelnut, biscotti, here we come. Where's that? Wow. Does everyone see a picture? These pictures that you see on the slide are actual pictures of what Martha made in advance. These are not from online. These are pictures that she took. Okay, so we're going to see how to make these chocolate hazelnut biscotti. Take it away, Martha.
Perfect. Okay, so I have to say that I do bake a lot, like more than maybe necessary, just because I enjoy it. But from everything I make, this is for sure the recipe is the most requested and I've made the most. And if there's anybody on the Zoom that has been to my house, there's a 99.99% chance that you've had these biscotti, and they're amazing, okay? And they're so simple that you just watch this and you'll be making them too, okay? So we're just gonna, in my KitchenAid with the paddle attachment, I'm putting in 1 cup of sugar, and this is 2 eggs and 1 yolk. The recipe calls for 3 eggs. The last white goes on the top. You know, we're gonna brush it on top. So for now, we're doing 2 eggs plus 1 yolk are going in here.
Just letting you know, people are saying hello to Yehuda.
Yeah, Yehuda has a fan club.
He has a fan club on the chat.
Okay, say hi, Yehuda. Okay, I'm turning on. We just want it to get nice and creamy. Okay. Okay.
Wait, do that again.
Okay. Let's just know what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off just so you could see inside. That took a second. You see, nice and creamy inside. Now we're adding to that 1 3/4 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a drop of salt, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, that's going in. We're gonna turn that on. And sometimes I find that my mixer gets a little messy and all over the place. I actually came up with my own little hack where I take a kitchen towel or sometimes a shopping bag and I just throw it over.
Okay.
So like until everything gets incorporated, it doesn't fly around.
Very smart.
Okay, but now that's all that took. You see, now it's already getting to be a crumply kind of a dough.
Excellent. Love the view. Love the view.
Good. Okay, and now I'm adding into that.
Okay, there's a question, Martha.
I'm ready. What's the question?
The question is, if you don't have such a fancy mixer like that, do you think a hand mixer could work and do the trick?
So I think so, because now I'm gonna put in the nuts and the chocolate, but those could also be just folded in by hand or a little bit like kneaded, like you could dump it out of the bowl if you don't feel like it could get in there, and then you could just knead it by hand on the counter, like to get these things inside, okay?
Excellent.
So now I'm adding in 2 cups of hazelnuts. I just wanna show you that my favorite place to buy hazelnuts lately is Costco, because this is like a really big bag. It's 26 ounces, and I think it's like $10 or $11, and they already come roasted. Whereas like, you know, I used to have to buy raw and roast them and put them in a towel, whatever. So this is much easier. So I just wanted to show everyone that these are really good hazelnuts in Costco. Okay, so now we're gonna turn the
Is it noisy or we're okay?
turn the mixer back on, and like as it's doing this, it's a little bit breaking up the hazelnuts, which is fine. because we want that.
Okay, great. Somebody said in the chat they did make this recipe with the hand mixer and it was just fine. So that's
Oh,
perfect.
good. Okay, great. Okay. And now I'm adding in 1 cup of chopped up chocolate. You could also use chocolate chips. I like the like uneven pieces and it just gives a little more character to it at the end. And so I'm adding that in. But I also just want to mention why this is like the best biscotti in the world, because anytime, like now, sometimes I'll find a different biscotti recipe and there's always oil or margarine in it. And I can't handle that. I can't eat a biscotti where my hands are greasy after. This is the only ingredients here are sugar, eggs, flour, baking powder, and vanilla. Like, there's nothing that's greasy.
Okay, somebody wants to know, did you ever try to substitute it a different nut besides hazelnut? Did you try a different nut?
So, you know, I mean, you could do whatever you want. I'm sure you could use almonds and it would be delicious. I've also done where I did macadamia nuts and like a tart dry cherry.
Okay, and they want to know what type of
And it
chocolate
was
was it?
delicious.
Could you repeat what type of chocolate you
I
used?
said macadamia nuts and dry cherries. That was like
Chocolate. What's the chocolate? What's the chocolate that you used?
Oh, so I use the baking chocolate. Like the Alpros is a big bar. I chopped it up already, but you could use any kind of bitter dark chocolate.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so now it's already almost, yeah, now it's ready. So the next thing we're gonna do is, here now show this, okay. My lovely assistant is working very hard.
Now, just a FYI, if you go up in the chat, guys, the recipes are there. There's a link up above in the chat. You could click on the link and you'll have all the recipes, okay? I know people are saying now that they'd like the recipes. They're all there, all 4 recipes that you're gonna see tonight. We're on recipe number 2. Thank you. Project Inspire posted it again. That was very sweet of you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
the next thing we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this, right? And we're going to flip it out onto our cookie sheet. Thank you. I don't know, we really would not have been able to do this without you, by the way. Not a joke. And we're gonna make 2 logs out of it. Another good idea would be, I like to wet my hands when I do this because I just find, oh, yeah, okay. That's good, you see, okay.
Like that?
I just find that when my hands are wet, you know, can you give me one of those brushes?
That was a trick you said last time also with the other recipe. When your
Yeah.
hands are wet, you're able to shape and do better with it.
Correct,
I
exactly.
do that with meatballs, so we're good.
Yeah, it's like meatballs. It really is. It's all the same thing. Yeah. No, it's fine. Doesn't matter.
Now, when you make the log, Martha, I'm just gonna ask you a question. You
Sure.
want all even? It's all even that you're making?
The log, you mean the log?
Yes, the log. Is it even or is it, there's the height at all? Or it's an even
I
growth?
mean, you could do whatever you do. You really you can't get this wrong, honestly. Because like if you do it a little wider, so you'll have wider biscotti, because then we will slice them. I'm going to show you that in a second, because I made one in advance, so I could show you the word biscotti means twice baked in Italian. I don't know how I know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did not know that. Thank you. See?
Yeah.
Power.
So what we're gonna do now is here are my logs. Hold on. Yeah, you see there are the logs. I'm just gonna put a little egg white on them. Whoopsies. Okay, anyway, it doesn't even matter. I could finish this later because these are going right into the oven.
Excellent.
And then
350?
at 350 for 35 minutes. And then watch, this is a magic of the cooking show. And here's the next one. Here's the one, this is what it looks like when it comes out. So you definitely want to get it to be nice and cool before you slice it. It just makes it much easier. I like using a serrated knife. And then I just slice them like this, about this thick. Again, you could do thicker, you could do thinner. There are really no rules here.
About an inch.
About, I would say like 1/3 to 1/2 inch. Can you put eggs on top of that here? Thank you. Yeah, and then they go back on a cookie sheet. I'm gonna show you that part. There's so little eggs. What? So little eggs.
And then after you put that back in, we're gonna go to our next, you almost heard, we're gonna go to our next inspirational person. You putting that on the tray?
Yes, I just want to show you that it goes this way on the tray, just like that. Okay, they're gonna go like that, and then they're going back into the oven for another 15 minutes. But that it's all on the recipe.
Okay.
Okay, so you
Got it.
go, and I'll see you back soon.
Yes, we'll go back soon. So without further ado, we'd love to call out our next words of inspiration. We have Inka all the way from, hi Inka. all the way from Arizona. Beautiful, Inka. That's beautiful. We see you beautifully, everything. Inka, so can you tell, when we were schmoozing, you tell me you were from so many different locations. Let's hear where you're from, Inka.
I think the basis of my whole life is that I'm the daughter and the replacement daughter of my parents who were Holocaust survivors.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not going to let you do all the math, but I was not in the Holocaust. I was post-Holocaust. And I have lots of attributes. My parents were Polish and they went back to Poland, but I don't have to remind you that they were already starting the pogroms. So they moved to Germany, and it was a US military zone, a little town called Zell. And it turns out that I was the first Jewish baby born after the war.
Wow.
I have many decades after my name. We lived in Germany for a while. Then we came to the Golden Medina, and we came on the U.S. Henry McCree, which was previously a ship to take the soldiers and the sailors to war. So we were on a U.S. military ship with lots of bunkers with the women. The women and the men were separated, whether they were married or not. And I came to America just 1 week shy of 3.
Wow. So wow, that was amazing, Inka. Is there something also, I know we had discussed, we were talking about something that you have learned.
Okay. So my life was very difficult, a roller coaster. And my parents, I don't know how they did it, but they went on with their lives. Plus they gave my brother and I ethics, a Jewish education, an English education, and no hate for anybody. So yeah. So I went to yeshiva for a while. I had learning difficulties for lots of reasons. And I came out of the bathroom one day and went to the sink in the hallway it was an enormous enamel sink with lots and lots of faucets. And of course, lots of cups hanging from the faucets. And then I was washing my hands and saying the bracha, and I was looking up at the bracha and I'm saying, why do I have to thank God to go to the bathroom? Well, I was only a single digit age at that time. Now that I'm a double digit age, boy, do I know why I thank God.
So I just want to translate. There's a special blessing. That's what Inka was. So you said the word bracha. There's a special blessing one says when they come out of the bathroom. And now when she had learned it and she saw it, it really very much resonated with her as time went on.
It's very much what was going on with the previous, what's her name? Martha and her co-sponsor, her learner partner, is that it's just like it came out of nowhere. In fact, Robin Meyerson, my Inspire coach, my Inspire leader here in Arizona, I don't know how the conversation came about, but she said, why don't you just say the bracha when you come out of the bathroom, Asher Yatzar? And I go, huh? Why? But it was like it planted in my head. And I said, okay, let me try it. And that was the most amazing thing, because like everybody who preceded me said the same thing. It's like one little step and that opens up for the next thing. Right. So, and I started doing it regularly. And I got very, one time or other, I had this enormous glow coming out of me. Like I really enjoyed that bracha, when I was saying it in the morning. And then it was just when I do it, I don't always have that tremendous reaction, but I do always have a reaction, usually positive, very soothing, very calming, very happy way to start my day.
Oh, that's
and so it's been a wonderful, it's a journey that I'm happy to be starting again.
Oh, thank you, Inka, for sharing, and that's so beautiful to know that when you say something and she learned about it and she connected to it, she was saying how she always has a reaction, right? That's important. Sometimes it's more exuberant.
Right. Correct.
More golden, but there's always something there.
Well, when I have a positive, I actually have a light. I can actually feel a light, a presence of a light.
That's beautiful.
I feel very blessed. This is extraordinarily, I feel extraordinarily. Why am I being selected? But I am, and I'm grateful. So it's an amazing gift. And the other thing that I learned recently was you have to do the rachatz, the washing before you even get out of bed, right? And usually that means that you have to have a basin with a 2-handled washing cup. And my bedroom is not that big, and but I love crystal, so I have crystal display all over my house. I gathered a couple of items and made my own washing station. I took a what is that called? Ice bucket of crystal. I took a very nice little vase that had exactly enough for 6 washes, and a crystal dish which I use as a cover. So I that's how I do that's what's standing at my bedside now. It's
All right.
crystal. It's not a big bucket, but I get it done. And the other thing is, this is fun. Very often when I'm doing it, I touch the crystal with the crystal. I get these little dings, these beautiful little melodic sounds.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Inka. We're going to get back to the desserts now and our learning partners.
Oh,
Let's bring them back. We have dessert number 3.
I just want to say thank you for the honor of being able to speak to you all.
You know what, Inka? It was our honor. Thank you. Thank you very much. More hours than yours. Okay. So let's go back to our dessert, ladies. Let's see the 3rd slide. Let's see, what's this dessert we're going to make now? I think it's a meringue. Yummy, yummy. Let's see it. The meringue layer cake.
I have a little bit of an obsession with hazelnuts that I haven't seen yet. I don't know. I don't know. I need them in my life, I guess, more than they should be here. So anyway, but this is, the truth is, this is a gluten-free dessert because it's really a meringue. It's just nuts and egg whites and sugar. And the truth is, it's really kosher for Pesach. So if you wanna go with it, and you could do whatever, works. So while Inka was telling us her amazing story, I actually whipped up 9 egg whites right here just because it takes a while and it's noisy. So that part is done. The next step is until it peaks. Thank you, my assistant.
You want to just explain to everybody, what does it mean when you say egg whites peak? Because I think people
like meaning like when you sorry like like you see how like they go like they have peaks
like little mountains, sorry,
yeah,
and they don't drop. They don't drop. I just want to explain that to everybody.
Yeah, they're very
big egg whites.
And firm, like they get like a whole, like they're just full
They look
of air.
like cream. They look like
yeah,
cream.
they're very, very like foamy. Like So now slowly with the mixer on, but on a slow, I'm putting.
They want to see your face a little bit, Martha. There you go.
All right. Okay. So maybe if you go a little farther, let's try that. Oh,
look at that.
Oh, okay. So I'm pouring in 2 1/4 cups of sugar very slowly.
Before you know it, I'm gonna be in the movies.
Yeah, she could be a camera. Hello, a whole new career for you. Yeah. So we're getting those the sugar just incorporated in with the egg whites, and we're gonna let it go for like another minute until it looks nice and shiny.
Okay.
We're waiting for it to be like, to develop like a nice shine. And then we're gonna add our nuts. In here I have 1.5 cups ground, the same exact hazelnuts that I used before. I find that the best way of grinding them is I just use my smoothie blend. It's not even here. Oh, it's here. Okay. I use my smoothie blender, like one of these guys.
Uh-huh.
And that's how it takes about 10 seconds. Okay. And now we have very shiny egg whites. See that?
Can you see that?
Wow.
Okay. They're beautiful. And now I'm going to fold in the ground nuts by hand, just because you don't want to over mix it when it comes to that part, because then they could fall. So here's my nuts. They're going in. And now I'm going to show you that I'm just as little, like with as few, I guess, movements as possible. I mean, it does take a couple of swirls to get in there. You don't want clumps of nuts. Just do a little of that. And the next thing we're going to do is I used to pipe this, but then I realized that it wasn't necessary. So now I have 3. This is my 3rd one. Okay. Yehuda, my helper. Can you give me that pan that's over there, please? Okay. So I have 3. I don't know if you could tell. I have 3 cookie sheets that have a circle drawn out in pencil upside down.
Oh, okay. It's a little hard to see, at least on my computer, but thank you for letting us know.
I ran out of white parchment paper and I had to go with this funky color one, so that's why. But what I'm doing is I'm just I'm just spreading out. Oh, wait, is this not the right one? Oh, no, never mind. This is not what I need. I need this. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm just spreading pretty evenly. I'm spreading out my meringue onto the sheets. Try to make it as evenly distributed as I can. Okay, and then,
Eyeball it.
yeah, eyeball it. Really, every dessert that we're making here tonight, you really can't even mess up if you wanted to, I don't think. Okay, and this is actually a very good thing also to have. It's an offset spatula, which means it gives you a little space where, like, now I'm just following the circle and I'm gonna go around like that on all three. And they're going into a 270-degree oven for 75 minutes. And what I like to do, I tend to bake these at night because the best thing for them is to cool off in the oven. So after the time, after my timer dings, I'll turn off the oven, but I'll leave them in the oven till the next morning because it's just good for them to cool off and dry out in the oven. Okay? So that's where these are going.
Okay.
But since this is like a magic cooking show, the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna pull out of the oven the ready ones and we're gonna build our cake.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, we are ready to build that cake.
All right, let's do it.
This is it?
Yeah, here comes my lovely assistant with the cake. So these are the layers that I made last night.
Oh, excellent. So that's what it looks like after you take it out of the oven.
So it happens to be that I think I didn't let them get as shiny as they should have been last night, and they didn't. They were a little flat. Here, let me lift it up. Wait, you can see this?
I'll show them.
Okay, sorry. Okay, they're a little flatter than I would like them to be. They're usually a little thicker than this, but it doesn't matter. It's all
Are they,
good.
are they fragile?
Yeah, they're pretty fragile, but the thing is that even if they crack or if you crack them, you could just rebuild them and it's all good.
Oh, okay.
So right here, I pre-made this. It's a 16-ounce tub of whipped topping, whipped up and then added into it a tofutti cream cheese. So that's what this is, okay? And then I'm going to.
Somebody said, did you bake all three at the same time in the oven?
I did. So I have two ovens. I end up putting 2 in one oven and 1 in the, that's good. I put 2 in one oven and 1 in the third oven. And what I like to actually do, that's a good question, because the one that has 2 in the oven, in the middle, I'll flip the top and the bottom just so they get a little bit more even. But if I only had one oven, I would just do it in one oven and I would, in between, like I would just try to rotate them like throughout. Okay,
Right.
so now I just put a layer. I have here some chopped up strawberries. I'm gonna do a little bit of that.
Okay.
And I've also made this, if you don't want to use berries. Yeah, we're gonna,
He just stole a strawberry.
oh, you can see, not only everybody saw you though. Okay, now I'm gonna go with my next layer.
Healthy, it's fine.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go with a third of the cream. And if you don't want to use berries, I've done this also with like whipped cream and some lemon curd and blueberries, or
Right.
I've done just the whipped cream and then some shaved chocolate.
Mm,
You just, when the stuff is this good, like you can't go wrong.
right.
Okay, so then the strawberries are going here, and for the top, I left some whole strawberry, and I've had where the cake would crack, and then I would just kind of like you can't really, yeah, I would just put it back together. It's all good.
Okay. Yum, yum, yum.
Okay, and then this goes on top. Oopsies, sorry for the mess.
Is it, can we go to the next person? Is that okay?
When you come back to me, I'll show it to you all done with the top.
Right, exactly. You'll show me the end result and then the last dessert. So without further ado, Elena, where's Elena?
You have to see because it's Elena and Sophie.
Let's find Elena. Hi, Elena. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. Could you tell everybody where you're from?
So I'm also from Ukraine. I came here when I was 17, and yeah, my parents immigrated in 1994 and I was 17 at the time, and we settled in New York.
Oh,
So
wow.
And like most other Russian-speaking Jews, we knew very little to nothing about Judaism, and there was no time to learn. Everybody had to work and make a living and try to survive. So that's the life of the immigrant in the early 90s. But 20 years later, my daughter started preparing for her bat mitzvah, and she started learning with Rebbitzin, and I realized that I know very, very little. And if I don't start learning something with her, it will be all for nothing. She's just going to, drop it all off and forget all about it. So we joined the local synagogue, and that's, I guess, how it all started with our family learning and going back to the roots and going back to Judaism. And then in 2018, I went on a trip with J Inspire Brooklyn to Israel and met, many wonderful women. And one of the city leaders introduced me to my learning partner, Sylvia. And she's been a great teacher and a good friend. And we've been learning for, over a year, about year and a half now. Same like Elena and Martha. We also started with the same book.
Oh, did you? That's so
yes,
funny.
yes. We all got the same book, Gateway to Judaism. So we also, we did the same thing with the book. And every week we would talk about family traditions and holidays and the different laws and the kashrut and Shabbos and all of, all of the things that I never knew anything about. And the interesting thing was, the more I learned, the more I realized that it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to know and so much to learn that I felt like I can never catch up. And the same thing was, this show is about Shabbos and Taste of Shabbos. So I want to share a little bit my personal Shabbos story, because I always felt like there's so many rules about Shabbos, and how can you keep all the rules? And it's such a difficult commitment that I could never fully commit to observing Shabbos the right way. In my family, I didn't work on Shabbos, and we had Friday dinners, but there was, we didn't know how to observe Shabbos the right way. So Sylvia, we were learning, and she was teaching me about the traditions and the laws. And, what I like about her, knowing my background, she knew that, I guess she wasn't pushy, she wasn't intrusive. She knew that there will be a right time for me and, I guess, my Shabbos. So the time, this past April, everything kind of changed in my life. My parents were very sick with COVID, and my mom was hospitalized and hooked up to a ventilator. And it was just for many, many reasons, you turn to God, but that's the time when you realize that everything is in His hands. And I prayed, and I made a promise that if getting emotional, I made a promise that when my mom wakes up, I will keep Shabbos. And Hashem delivered. He delivered the miracle. And less than a week later, right before Shabbos, on Thursday, April 17th, my mom came out of coma. And we kept Shabbos ever since May. There is no TV, there is no driving, there is no electronics. We figured out how to work the lights. We figured out how to, cook the food and prepare the food. And it's just been amazing, because it gave me peace on so many levels, and the priorities have changed. I feel like Shabbos, it's like a magical bubble. Once the candles are lit, everything else is you know, all the troubles, all the stress is just left somewhere else. And Shabbos became like an island, like a peaceful island in the stressful week. And we kind of go from Shabbos to Shabbos, and every Shabbos is like, thank God it's Shabbos again. And yeah, so that's my little story.
Oh, it's not a little story there, Elena. That's a big, powerful story.
It's a big change. It's a huge change in our life for the better. Definitely for the better.
That's just unbelievable. And I really appreciate that raw emotion and how you just shared all that with everybody here. You got a lot of people here. You got over 120 people here.
Oh, wow. Thank you for giving me my 5 minutes of fame.
Oh, my pleasure. And really, really thank you so much for sharing and being so open with all of us and really, what would be the right word? Feeling safe to do that and knowing that we're all family here on this show. And people are just this, they're just saying fabulous, fabulous. I don't know if you could read the chat right now. If you know how to do that, you'll see everyone is just sharing such beautiful ideas. Every time somebody shared an idea, it's not only you, but everyone is saying how inspirational all the different stories are. So I really want to thank everyone this evening. We're going to go back to the desserts now. Martha, when you go back, so people are also asking, how do you cut that meringue? So you're on mute. Good. You're off of mute now. How do you cut that meringue?
Okay, so that was an amazing story. I feel like my cake can't even follow, like it's just not worthy of following Alina's amazing story, but it is yummy, so. So how do I cut with it? A knife goes right through it. It cracks a little bit, but the best thing about it, in my opinion, is the crunch that you get. That's why, like, if I serve it at a Shabbos meal or for any kind of occasion, I really will, you know, you saw me, I have the whipped cream in the container, I have the strawberries cut up. I'll put it together right before dessert, like not even before the meal, right before dessert. And then you get that super crunch. So I'll show you what it looks like now.
Ooh, see that? Isn't that beautiful?
Wait, it's a little off center. Sorry. It's
okay, but we see it. That is beautiful, really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really yummy. Okay, so we're gonna go to our last thing.
The last one, let's see the last slide. And also, while you're gonna do that, I'm also gonna speak a little bit to Elena, because we want to know, Elena, definitely we want to hear from you. What was the most inspirational thing that you learned together? So everyone, you see the babka straws. And for this recipe, I put in a picture of the puff pastry. Some people might not be familiar of what you need to purchase. So if you want to be able to see that. Okay, so we're going to go right now to the ladies. Okay, here we go. Get ready for the babka straws. Okay.
Okay, so let's do that. Okay, fine. So I rolled out one, you know, the recipe calls for 2. So I made one last night to show it ready. And here, this is the second half. I just rolled out one of these puff pastries this size. I made the filling, which is also on the slide. It's chocolate, it's like cocoa and sugar and oil and a lot of good things. And then we're just gonna smear it on here. Which also my offset spatula helps to do. I just wanted to also show you that sometimes I make this, and instead of making this whole filling, which is a few ingredients, I mean, it takes 2 minutes, but still, I'll just use this, which is the par of Nutella, or you could use regular Nutella, or even I've done Lotus. So think of anything good and yummy, or, you know, I'm thinking now you could even just put, like, let's say apricot jam or raspberry jam, or I don't know, think of something.
I bet you could do like a cinnamon sugar mixture, probably.
Yes, like oh, that would be yum.
Yes, and you should know you could even buy, I've seen in the store, for people out there, I've seen in the store, Baker's Choice, if you're not familiar with that brand and you like to bake, you need to get familiar with Baker's Choice brand. They have already a paste, a cinnamon sugar paste that you could use for something like this, or on rugelach. I use it on rugelach. And so you could use that and it would be like a cinnamon babka.
Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is I'm just folding this in half, just like that. Giving it a little pat. Thank you, Yehuda. Patting it, okay. And then I'm taking a pizza cutter
Mhm.
And it's just going down, I would say a little bit less than an inch.
Okay.
Okay, easy, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, and I mean, that really takes like a minute. And now, okay. And now we're going to take each strip that we made and we're just gonna double twist it
Oh, cool.
and put it on a cookie sheet.
Could you just show the jar of that Power of Nutella, that kosher brand again?
Deli nut. So
Elena, I was right. Okay, someone asked.
original, the one that says original is parv. There's one that says no gluten. That's not parv. So you want the parv one. Okay, so you just basically, Elena, you want to help me? You want to also do?
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm
I
sure.
also-
Yeah.
I think he'll be better.
Okay, doubles. Now I have a lot of people helping me. This is gonna go very fast.
Right. So while you do that, could I ask Elena something?
Sure, sure.
Elena,
Come on,
what is the most inspirational thing that the two of you learned together? If we could see you, Elena, that would be great. What is the most, little higher? Hi.
Hi. So with us, really, I found that inspirational was, I don't know if I could say it's inspirational, but the camaraderie that we have and the things that I went through in the last year with the death of my father. And not only Martha, but all the ladies, I call them my Israeli ladies. So all of them were just wonderful. So,
Mhm. That's so beautiful. It's a family. When you're part of Project Inspire, that's what I want to tell all the women here. If you're not part of Project Inspire yet, and you get part of, and you join us, we're family. We're all one cohesive unit. And it's just amazing. And especially for me, you know, I'm newer to the family than everybody else. And doing these shows, I've really gotten to know each branch separately because every branch has been represented. Soon we're going to do Toronto next week. And it's really just so beautiful how everyone comes together, everyone's helping, everyone's trying to get their participants to share their beautiful stories. And I'm telling you, that alone is inspirational. When you want to feel part of something, that is very important. That's meaningful to feel like you're part of it. It doesn't have to be that you necessarily are doing something. Oh, now I'm keeping Shabbos. That's not what it's about. It's knowing that we as the Jewish people, we as Jewish women, we're unified. We're together. And that was really beautiful. Thank you, Elena, for letting us know. What do you want to say?
if I may, so one of the things was when my father passed, we didn't have the seats to sit Shiva.
Right, the low seats.
And Shalamis, and she's on my, I had texted her and I said, can you help?
Right.
And what was
She
it?
gave you the number of the SAS.
Yes. And they came and they helped and they were there for us. And it's just a wonderful community.
Yes, 100%. It is.
We have to take care of each other.
Okay. Do you have a finished product of the Babka straws? And then we're going to talk about some other stuff. Yeah.
This is what they look like. So it says in the recipe to egg them, but really ain't nobody's got time for that. So I might have, I just spray them because it's just so much easier than going individually because this isn't even done yet. It's getting a yummy, yummy, yummy crumb on top. So you crumb them and then they go into the oven. My lovely assistant, you finish crumbing them and I'm going to show you what they look like.
Let's see that finished product. Okay. We're excited to see that finished product.
So here is the finished, so here actually is my finished biscotti. That's what they look like.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And these are the Babka straws. I like to serve them standing up because they're long. And they're really yummy. And I feel like everything we made tonight, it goes quick. I don't want anybody to be scared of baking. So the last thing I would want to do, and I don't know if you want to go in and come back, is I wanted to decorate the log together.
Okay, so let me just promote some stuff. Let's summarize the evening. You get your stuff ready to decorate. How's that? Okay, so let's talk about, ladies, let's review what happened tonight. Besides that if we make all these desserts, we're going to gain a lot of weight. That's a side issue. But we really were talking about how learning has really jump-started a lot of inspirational, a lot of growth here in this Zoom room tonight. We spoke about people sending their children to Jewish school, just planting the seeds, or the simple prayer, the simple blessing of when you come out of the bathroom, how that just explodes in Inca's brain, or the family that now Elena has, or Elena, sorry. Did you notice that I have a tongue twister tonight? Does anyone else notice that? Because this is like crazy, all the different names. So Elena, how you really shared that personal touching story about your parents. I mean, it is just unbelievable. And I want to thank all the ladies tonight who really demonstrated how knowledge gives us power, how knowledge really jumpstarts further growth. And without further ado, we have a slide, right, Aliza, about learning. If anybody wants to learn more, you could contact Project Inspire. They could match you up one-on-one learning. You could really get a lot out of that. And you know what? If you're not ready for that, we have other programs. Let's show them those slides. We have coming up something called Mind Flex. We have Deep Dive. Deep Dive is a nice way to get into it a little bit. Tomorrow night, we have a presenter, starts us off, introduces a certain topic, and then we do something called breakout rooms. And in the breakout rooms, you'll have one specific person going through sources with you, and it's just a very meaningful. If that's something a little bit different, if you want to do that, then there's another option. If I'm not, then the real Mind Flex is where you're going to have one presenter really talking about one specific topic. And look, it's already week 28. Is that awesome? Think about it, week 28. They've been doing this for 28 weeks already. 28 weeks of Mind Flex classes. So, and if you want to see any of the old ones, the previous ones, you will find them, if I'm not mistaken, on the YouTube channel for Project Inspire. All of this is available to you. Really, you should take advantage. And I know some of you do, because when I do the Mind Flex, some ladies come on, they go, we're here because you mentioned it and we wanted to learn. So that's great. And then next week, look at this. We're going to round off our series with something called tablescapes. Like we've learned about all the different courses, but now let's all put it together, and let's put it together how to present it all, making our Shabbat table so beautiful with different ideas. And it's going to be very exciting. I hope to see you next week as well. And let's see that finished product now. Martha, you ready to show us how to decorate?
Okay, this is really the fun part. Okay, so this is the log that we made. All right, so I'm just popping it out. Look how easy it comes out. Okay, I'm just unrolling it and putting it onto the parchment. Okay, now what I did here is I took about 2 tablespoons of Lotus and some Parv white chocolate, and I just stuck these 2 bags into like a Pyrex bowl of boiling water for a few minutes. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Now they're all melty. And the third thing that I have here crushed Lotus cookies.
Okay.
There's a theme here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the bottom.
So you're making your little piping. You're making a little piping bag, a homemade piping bag.
And I'm going to go
drizzle.
Drizzle, drizzle,
drizzle, drizzle.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna hold off on this one for a minute. I'm gonna go to the white one, do the same thing. And now we're gonna have a white drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. And then what I like to do is I like to go over the white with a little bit more of the brown one, just because then it'll show more. So we're gonna go back to this one. And we're just gonna do that. And if you're doing a peanut butter one instead of Lotus, you just do the same thing with peanut butter. Okay, and now I'm taking some of the cookies and I'm just sprinkling it. It has to go fast because otherwise it's gonna set. Okay, I'm doing that. Sometimes I'll take a lot of times if I'm making these for like a party or something, I'll make a few different flavors. So I'll take a full Lotus cookie. I think that's the picture that you have. I'll take a full Lotus cookie and put right into the middle, just so you know that it's Lotus. And I'm just gonna lift it up. I'm putting it on my board right here. And ta-da, there it is.
Does that not look delish? OMG. Oh my gosh. Okay, Martha, Elena, you guys were awesome tonight. Thank you for all those amazing, yummy desserts. And you should know, people are actually making these recipes. People are telling me and putting it in the chat sometimes. Someone said they make the challah recipe and it's delicious. And people made the soups. I'm so excited that people are really taking this and going much further with it. Thank you so much, everybody. How about, why don't we see everybody? Can we see the whole gallery a little bit? And we could say goodnight to everybody. So we're not only spotlighting me, but maybe let's see the whole gallery. Sometimes that's nice too. Let's see, can I see the whole gallery? Okay, now I see. Hi, I don't know if you guys all see the whole gallery. I see the whole gallery. Okay, hi, it's so nice. Thank you so much for always coming back. I so appreciate it. It's so nice of you. Oh, I saw my mother there for a second. Hi, Ma. Everybody can say hello to my mom. Oh, wow. So special. Hi, Debbie. I see Debbie there. And really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know we have people from all over the place. We had Dallas. I saw Alabama, we had Baltimore, Arizona, Toronto. You can start telling me in the chat where you're from and we could say a goodbye. There's a girl, Melanie, on here. Melanie's been chatting with me. She wants everyone to know she makes these recipes and she loves it. I don't know where Melanie is right now. Over here. Oh, there's Melanie. Okay, I don't know if I could spotlight. I could pin Melanie. There's Melanie, everybody. Say hi to Melanie. I don't know if you see her. Hi, Melanie. She's been chatting with me. I just wanted to make sure everyone sees her. Okay. So really, thank you so much. This was amazing. I use those recipes. They're going to really enhance your Shabbos. They're going to enhance everything. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much and have a great night and a great week and a happy Rosh Chodesh, Kislev. Have a great night.
Jordana, you're amazing. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Okay, see you soon.
Yes, see you soon.